Hey YouTube, this is Zach with Achilles Financial, and today I'm going to be looking at Caterpillar, and this is occurring on the same week that some of the largest companies in the tech business are announcing earnings. That being said, last week we saw a brief glimpse into some of the expectations surrounding, in particular, advertising revenue associated with the Apple privacy law that they are complying with or the data considerations that they are utilizing, when Snapchat disclosed that they saw a large impact in their Q3 earnings associated with that, and they expect that to continue to impede them going forward. So that was kind of the canary in the coal mine in tech for, in particular, a few of the larger companies. And what I want to be looking at is Caterpillar, who is one of the largest companies in the industrial space. So you can see here that their earnings are going to be this Thursday, October 28th, and that's going to be coming in pre-market. The expectations is that this is going to be significantly higher than what we saw in 2020 Q3. The expectation here is the company is continuing to invest a lot into their shareholders to drive that stock price up, as well as the fact that we are seeing a return to business as quote unquote usual for Caterpillar. There's a few things that I want to highlight though for them and why I want to watch them instead of just the expectation from the tech side. The first is the company has done very, very well this year, and you can see that using the chart from the right-hand side as they've continued to grow quite strongly at the same time that they're offering a $4 dividend, which is coming in right at 2.21% off the current share price. The company is profitable, and you can see that with a PE ratio of 25.64, and the company is continuing to trade very well. This is a company that, despite their incredible sales record, only has a market cap of just north of $100 billion. So the question of why I'm looking them is not purely based off of the fact that they are an industrial leader, but rather some of their earnings calls, some of their earnings reports will point to their expectations of the future using some of the economic data they are pulling in particular sales. So what we're going to look at is see if I am using Snapchat to build a forecast of what I expect to happen in the machinery, or rather in the tech sector, I can use Caterpillar to set my expectations for machinery, construction, and overall economic development. Keep in mind, one of Caterpillar's largest markets is China, and we are seeing a lot of concern in the Chinese market associated primarily with Evergrande and some of the other construction or real estate companies over there that are currently potentially going to default. We did see an interest payment made this past weekend, causing the Evergrande debacle to be pushed forward. However, this is one that we want to watch, and Caterpillar normally does a very good job of making those forecasts. The other thing that I would highlight is if we look at the expectation of this company compared to where they were last year, you can see that 2020 they ended up being able to build off their momentum to hit a new high not seen since 2018. In 2021, they've continued to actually stay right at that high from the prior year, and they've been buying back shares, they've been increasing their dividend, and they've continued to perform very, very well. One of the ways that they've done this is that they have seen some supply chain issues, they've seen labor shortages, and due to the fact that they have had to increase some of their cost of goods sold, they've down the line increased the prices on many of their products, which is why they've been able to maintain quite a solid gross and net margin. And you can see some of that valuation here when we look at their overall profitability. The net profit margin for an industrial company, you can see at 9.35% is incredible, and they've continued to perform very well. They are a market leader in terms of the quality of their machinery. So I've got all this information about Caterpillar. What am I going to be looking at going forward? Well, let's take a look at what they presented in Q2 to be able to divine what that looks like. As you can see here, I've brought up their Q2 numbers at this point, and what I want to highlight as we go through this is not necessarily the expectation of their Q2 results. They were very good, but rather what they expect going forward. So the company is overall firing on all cylinders. So you can see the overall profit, but then they break it down by construction, resource, and energy and transportation. You can see the differences in the 2020 versus the 2021 in terms of second quarter. Overall, they've continued to do very, very well. You can also see that they have it broken out by North America, Latin America, EAME, as well as Asia Pacific. The thing that I want to highlight is it talks about some of the catalysts and the benefits for how they can do very well. One of the things as we look at favorable currency is if the dollar continues to do well, that benefits Caterpillar as they sell into those markets. The big thing that when we are listening to this earnings call, we want to hear is their forward-looking expectations. So on the Q2 call, they talked about some of the expectations associated with Q3, which would be managing that supply chain, raising prices to make sure that they were hitting that net profit margin, and continuing to develop a competitive company. As they've continued to achieve that, will be interesting to see the expectation associated with will they be able to continue that into Q4, in particular due to the fact that they are struggling from a labor perspective as well as materials. So if they can combine those two items and pass those costs on to the end user and they're able to actually perform at that same level, then I think that that benefits very, very well for them. You can see that they expected strong growth in Q3, and they also expect to see that they are going to offset those higher manufacturing costs by being able to sell at a higher price. The question is, will they meet expectations and will they be able to perform going forward, and what is their expectation looking forward? I think if they are highlighting any concern with the macroeconomic environment, particularly with their key market in China, then we'll be able to see that affect not only Caterpillar, but also some of the other industrials and broader manufacturing sector. Because not only are we going to be looking at Caterpillar this week, but Boeing also announced this week as well. Between aerospace as well as industrials in general, we're encompassing a large part of the market. So that's why I'm looking at Caterpillar this week, because primarily I want to see their commentary surrounding economic growth across Latin America, the United States, and in particular the Asian market, in particular China. If they are firing up on the expectation of a new infrastructure deal, which continues to go back and forth, Caterpillar is definitely going to benefit from it, but let's see if they mention that in their earnings call and in the investor presentation. So right now the current stock price is about $200 a share. The good thing about a Caterpillar type of stock is they do have that 2% dividend. They do have some potential for upward momentum, and the company overall continues to be one of the top companies in their space. So overall, I don't think that it can necessarily be a poor choice as an investment. Just keep in mind, I'm by no means a financial advisor, just some guy on YouTube. But the company overall, with that $200 stock price, does present an attractive price to enter in my point of view, and that's something that I may be evaluating this calendar week. So let me know in the comments below if you find this type of content helpful, and please leave a like and subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section down below or in the Discord attached in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.